see here. Pirates! What's up, Shadow Walk? How you doing? Yeah, I wanted to switch it up today. I'm gonna keep, working on the piece that I've been doing, but it just goes a little faster off stream, and I want to get it done. And sometimes I just want to look at something else. So we're switching it up. A bit. This is one that I had originally wanted to do as a traditional painting at some point. So the idea was that I'll do a digital, like color comp, essentially, like figure it out digitally and then use my digital piece as reference for the oil painting. I just have no idea when I'll have time to oil paint it, so I figure, you know what? Let's just get it done, and I can worry about when I'll have time for it later. So I'd done like a rough, let's see, on stream actually a while ago. We had done this one. This was in pencils, right? But then I was kind of like, well, why is it just the two of them? It should be, I want more people. I want it to be more of a spectacle. And so I had done a rough also in pencils to just like get some more people. So I went horizontal with it. So I'm kind of I use this as a base and just kind of like cut it up a little bit. It's slightly more horizontal now, not a lot, but a little bit, just to give it some more breathing room. So now I'm just kind of gonna. I don't want to like. It's not really line work that I'm going for per se, but cleaning up the drawing, the structure a bit. I feel like ships just have rope everywhere they can, because they always need it for something. So we're just gonna have, if there's a post, we're gonna have some rope hanging from it. Thank you. Yeah, I think it'll be a fun one, like, regardless of whether I do it, um, digital or traditional. I think it'll be a fun one to paint. I want to kind of try and not go super prescriptive on it. That's not really what I love doing. Sometimes it's fun. In the case of that elemental that we've been working on, it makes sense because there's not a whole lot happening in that composition, so the materials are sort of it. It's what we've got to work with. So it kind of, it makes more sense to render that one out, but this one I'd like to keep more painterly. I know that I'm gonna run into some things that I'm gonna have to correct. That's always the case, when I do just a really quick rough that's meant to be more like, hey, let's just get this idea down so we don't forget it and then deal with the inadequacies later. So we'll see. I imagine, especially if I'm cutting things up and moving things around, chances are there might be some perspective things to fix, and those things always come out especially when you're working in like a one-point perspective. It's kind of harder to hide stuff. So we'll see. We will see. I should definitely very quickly decide where the light is coming from. I have a very strong tendency to light things from the left. I'm not sure why I tend to do that. I just know that I do. So I might switch it up and light things from the right. I'm just not sure like how it could be fun to do something that's more like sunset, I don't want to get a sunset in here. I never think that's a very interesting thing to paint. If we go sunset, it might be interesting, even though it would give her a little bit of the disadvantage, but maybe that it'll just show how much of a badass she is. But it could be interesting to light, to kind of light it like if the sunset was off behind our right shoulder, right? So our light source is coming from here. Low hanging sun. What would be fun is that it'll just bathe everything in that orange gold kind of light, and I think that would be kind of cool. So that's what I'm leaning toward. We'll see. We shall see. I should decide though, because in which case this shadow on this maybe doesn't make as much sense, except for a cast shadow from the rope. So because I'm essentially building in lighting as I sketch, it's a good thing for me to know where my light source is coming from. So I'm thinking, yeah, over off behind our right shoulder might be a good place for that. So let's run with that and see where it takes us. Basically, she's got a bunch of, rascals and scallywags cheering her on. And it's a chance for me to kind of maybe get into some fun faces, right? Maybe a variety of faces. Oh my god, surfer. Welcome. It's funny, Shadow Walk, like, I do tend to go, for some kind of badass characters. More so if I'm doing, like, a one-off kind of illustration, right? If I'm thinking more, like, long-form story-wise, then I'll get into, like, all kinds of characters. But if I'm doing just a kind of one-off, like, iconic sort of thing, then yeah, I tend to lean into the badassery. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm really bad about, like, pushing my other stuff on Instagram. Partly because I just haven't been as active on Instagram lately. All of Instagram's algorithm shenanigans kind of annoyed the hell out of me, so I just haven't been doing as much on there, but we'll see. I might get back to it. But hey, I'm glad that you found the Twitch stream. Trying to do streams every Monday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So just FYI. Sometimes, you know, the full-time job gets in the way, but that's okay. I shouldn't say gets in the way, because, you know, it does pay the bills and all that. But sometimes you have to focus on that stuff, and the streams fall by the wayside a little bit. So I'm definitely starting looser on this right now, right? We're not going like really tight on this stuff. It's more just to sort of start to clarify some of these things. She definitely needs to be adjusted. Her proportions are, she's got super long arms right now, so that's kind of weird. Oh, right on. I know, right? Shadow Walk. There are too many things, like, and it all distracts me from the whole drawing part. You know? Trying to think of what I want to adjust here. Let's adjust the arms. I could actually just grab the one from the other drawing that I did, but whoops. Whatever. What else? And, you know, obviously I can adjust it when I do like the actual drawing. Just trying to get a little closer to accuracy, whatever that means. Dude, TikTok's weird, I'm not gonna lie. TikTok's a little strange. And yeah, Shadow Walk, I've actually considered getting a social media manager, because like I can produce content, no problem. It's when I have to start spreading myself a little too thin and having to not just like create the content, but then edit and post and, you know, edit accordingly for each platform, and I just don't have that kind of time. I could make the time, but then it would mean less artwork, and that doesn't appeal to me. So I would rather do more art, personally. Alright. This guy. So... Nah, we'll keep the pose. I kind of like... I was gonna maybe flip it, like, not flip it, but have an arm up, because I'm gonna put these barrels over here, because, you know, what is a ship without barrels? I was thinking of putting an arm up on the barrels, and then his other arm steadying him, you know, with his sword. But I don't like that as much, so we'll keep the sword over on this side. Yeah, those damn algorithms, you know, like, it sucks because, like, it was so friendly before to growing your account organically, right? Instagram was. And then just with that algorithm change, fuck, they just took all the fun out of it. You know? Like, all of a sudden they turned it into like a full-time job, and just like, dude, you can't even really monetize on Instagram. So like, why do they want you to spend so much time on their platform when they don't even have a built-in way to monetize other than a shop, which means you have to have some kind of product to sell, right? You can't do Instagram Live and have people, you know, throw you tips and stuff like that. You know, at least TikTok has that. I mean, you need 10,000 followers or something like that before you can do it, but at least they have something built in. But I just don't understand why Instagram would demand you spend so much time on their platform when it's like you can't actually make money on their platform. So what's the point of spending that much time on it? It is a little weird. Like, you know, why not give people the option to just do it? And hey, if they don't get any viewers, they don't get any viewers. So what? I don't know if it's like an added toll on the app or like what. I don't know why they would do that. Or if it's just like, hey, here's a goal for you guys, you know? I'm not sure. Can't forget, he's got a big... We want to make it clear that she has gotten this guy at least a few times. So he is not in good shape. You know, I designed, or I should say I helped design, I think the cover for the first Dragon Age, but I've never played the game. So, I have no idea who you're talking about. But that's kind of how, that's, you know, story of my life. People are like, hey, that looks like so-and-so. I'm like, I don't know who that is. They're like, oh, it's from this game. I'm like, oh, hey, I worked on the key art for that. I still don't know who you're talking about. I just don't have the time to game these days. These games are so long now. I can't spend that kind of time on things that are not art. I might be a little obsessed with art. Who knew? Saber here. And some of this stuff, like, total placeholders. We'll get into a few more details here and there, but I don't want to, like, again, I'm not going to go super prescriptive. I'm going to lean more into, like, the kind of Brandywine school of art, you know, Howard Pyle, Dean Cornwell. They did the best pirates. So we're just gonna kind of lean into that stuff and, you know, have some areas of interest, some of more detail, and then other areas. Oh, thank you. Rating. Else Dragoon, what's up? How's it going? Welcome. That's okay. Every raid is welcome, you know? We love them all. Welcome, raiders. We are, I don't want to say we're switching it. I mean, we're switching it up from what we've been doing, but, you know, pirates are... well, they're an ongoing theme with me, so... so that's what we're doing today, because I wanted to do something different from what we've been doing of late. Else Dragoon, how was your stream, my friend? What did you work on? What did you do today? How did it go? And do you want to share anything? We like when our fellow streamers share. Right on. Wow, yeah, that's I wouldn't really know where to start with that. Needs more of a collar here. So let's think about that. And at some point I do want to get back into the oil painting on stream as well. I don't want to go too long without doing that, or else, you know, get rusty again and it's just annoying. So we'll get back to that before too long. Weird. Yeah, you know, socials are always welcome if you can't, you know, share what you were doing on stream necessarily. So yeah. Wait, have I not seen your Instagram? Why do I feel like I haven't seen your Instagram? That stuff's dope. I dig it. I like a lot of those more like graphic, kind of flat graphic pieces that you're doing. Those are cool. Some nice compositions and stuff. So, right on, dude. Thanks for sharing. Hell yes. But you know what? That's totally fair. There is nothing wrong with that. You know, it's not always fun to render, and there's nothing wrong with focusing on strong graphic design. I don't always like to render either, honestly. Like, I find it tedious after a while. That's probably why I'm switching gears right now. Though I need to finish that piece, but it just goes faster if I kind of do it on my own time. It doesn't go as fast on stream, you know, talking and explaining stuff and whatnot. So, but we'll get back to it, or at least I will. I'll get back to it, and then I'll definitely show where it ends up on stream, if nothing else. All right, this is where when we get a bunch of faces in here, we have to make sure that we start getting variety, right? We don't want to go on autopilot here. We don't want them all to look the same. So we're gonna have to get some different looks. I don't understand how they do it either. And yeah, Else Dragoon, that's why I work professionally as a sketch artist. Because I like sketching. But I also think that there are ways to like take sketches and still have them feel like finished pieces too. It takes practice, but totally doable. What about my killer lattes? I love making lattes. They are delicious. It's one of those things where it's like, you know, the artist in me just, I'm like, no, I want to learn to pour a really nice latte. And I used to be a barista way back in the day when I was like, 20 or something. Long time ago. But that was before like coffee got all fancy here in the US. So, you know, we didn't do all the fancy pours and stuff. But at least when I decided that I was gonna start doing that, at least like I understood the technicalities of milk frothing and at least how to get certain textures and what you do want, what you don't want, and all that shit. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. That stuff's fun. It's just one more way to kind of be creative, you know? Take any excuse I can get to do something creative. Wait, enter start play. Are you saying if you drink a lot of milk it makes your stomach hurt? Or are you saying you drink a lot of milk and it makes your stomach hurt? In which case I would say don't drink a lot of milk if it makes your stomach hurt, because that's probably not a good thing. Yeah, no, my buddy, actually my best friend, man, he is plagued with all kinds of issues with his like digestion and stuff. Why does this not? And it sucks because like he's gone to the doctor and they're like, nope, you're not allergic to anything. It's like, well, then how come every fucking thing gives me problems? Clearly there's something going on and they can't figure it out. And it sucks because he didn't used to be allergic or sensitive to stuff. Ooh, yeah. Crohn's gets brutal. Man. Not gonna lie, I probably kind of, you know, take it for granted the fact that I can eat just about anything. Except red meat. My body doesn't like red meat very much, and I'm okay with that because it's not good for you anyway. But once in a while, I can do it. I just can't sit there and go like multiple nights with it. So, I mean, literally, I probably have red meat like 3 times a year, maybe. I'm just sorry. I was lost in thought there. I'm not sure what this dude is looking at, and maybe it doesn't matter too much, but I feel like he should be looking at either her or this homie that's about to get it. And I feel like if he is looking at her, then the two sides will kind of be mirrored a little too much. Plus, I actually want to get a third guy on the right here because right now it's all broken up in like twos, right? 2 guys on the left, 2 guys on the right, 2 people facing off, and that's too even for my tastes. So, I'm not sure exactly where I would want to put a third guy. I kind of wouldn't mind actually like sneaking someone in up here because we don't need to see like all of them, you know, but I wouldn't mind something like that. Let's do this. Let's do this. We're gonna just take these dudes. We're gonna move them over. That'll give us a little more room, and then it doesn't make it so evenly spaced, right? And that'll give us room to put a dude over here that's maybe looking at the naval officer that's about to get it, right? I almost want him taunting him, which would be such a dick move, but it seems like a pirate thing to do. Right? Yeah, El's Dragoon. Actually, my girlfriend and I have we'll do the Impossible burgers instead of doing red meat burgers as well, and they're delicious. So we were very happy that they are actually as good as they were saying. Oh hey, Ivor Churchill, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we're kind of just trying to figure it out here a little bit, and then hopefully I can get into the actual like lighting and stuff. I kind of want a dude closer to this guy, but like, you know, like bending down or something, like taunting him. But like a face that large could easily pull focus, which is why it's good that he would be off to the side, slightly cropped, you know, and of course we can always keep the values down there. We don't have to, go like super heavy on the values. So, you know, we can keep the focus where it needs to be. But remember, we're lighting it kind of from sort of if the sun is setting over our right shoulder, right? Back behind us. So it'll be fun. That'll cast some fun shadows and give us something a little different to play with. Pirate beanie, wool cap. Thanks, Ivor Churchill. Lurk away, Else Dragoon. I did the pizza thing myself today because I got a little tired of my own cooking. Yeah, so the composition, you know, like I'm really like, you know, gonna do my best to sort of channel those old Brandywine vibes, right? Howard Pyle, Dean Cornwell, Harvey Dunn, NC Wyeth, all those badass dudes that, you know, I'm not as good as, but whatever. And one of the things that I loved in their work, I should say, because I still do, was the graphic design, right? How they could give you this great narrative and really great striking composition. Of course, like anything on a ship pretty much lends itself really well to awesome graphic design. Because you have ropes and shit going everywhere that can break up the space in a really interesting way. And we'll get more in there. At least a couple more. You know, probably like a couple behind her doing something like that. But we'll wait till we get more of this stuff happening and we can kind of paint that stuff in without getting distracted. Maybe he'll have his arm up on the barrels here. He's just like, oh, what's the matter, officer? Not as good as you thought? Getting beat by a girl. No, I'm pretty sure none of them would dare go against her either. She will, it'll kind of be both of them. He will ultimately have probably stronger values, but she's the one facing us, right? She'll be clearly silhouetted against the sky. And I will probably give her some pretty hard edges too. Normally I would go fairly soft. Her hair will have soft edges. But I'll sneak in some hard edges too, and hopefully that will help to drive our eye there. And again, if I get a couple of ropes, right, basically going right to her, that'll also help. I might, like this one here, I might also do, you know, something like that just to kind of help drive our eye in. And we'll see. Once I get further and I get into the actual lights and darks, I'll be able to kind of finesse some of that stuff, you know, with the lights and how I want to lead the eye in. So we'll see. We're just kind of working our way back there. I'm gonna draw her on her own layer, so that's why I haven't like tackled her just yet. I wanted to kind of get these guys doing their thing. Maybe he has some kind of a cravat or something. He's a fancy pirate. My boy Uwu. I wouldn't know enough about League of Legends to be able to riff on anything. Which is funny because I used to do a lot of comics for them. But they gave me the story. I didn't actually have to know anything about about the game. They gave me a character design and a story, and that was that. Oh, Shadowwalk. My boy Ooh said, whoa, it's like a League of Legends novel. And I was just saying, I've never played League of Legends, so I don't actually know enough about the game to be able to riff on it in any way. Even though I used to do comics for them. Like, when was that? I think it was in 2011 and 2012. I did like some of the online comics when they would introduce new champions. So like they had these comics that they'd put out on the forums. This guy leaning back on the rail. Yeah, I'm trying to think of who when they introduced what was her name? Leora? Liana? Leona? I'm totally... Yeah. Leona. When they introduced her, I did the comic introducing her to the game. It was like her up on this snowy mountain. I don't even know, like, if those things are still around. I'm Googling it to see if, like, I can find it, but... I mean, I probably have it somewhere on my computer. I'd have to look for it. I'm sure it's somewhere in there. Anyway, her... I'm not going to remember all the characters I worked on. Volibear, when they introduced Volibear, I did the comic introducing him. Oh yeah, and Fiora. I did the comic for Fiora, too. And who's the like? Oh, there it is. Sort of. It's like a really shitty little. Didn't remember them doing that awful border on it. It's too bad it's not bigger. But and then there's the dude that's like all the like underwater dude. It looks like a big old school scuba suit or something. I did the comic for him. Yeah. Those are the only ones I remember, but I did a bunch of them, and they paid me very well. Way too much, honestly, for how easy the work was. Alright, do I want this guy to... Yeah, he's gonna have a vest of some kind. Let's give him a vest of some kind. I want to try and keep it a little more... I don't know if mellow is the right word, but I don't want to go crazy with the designs on these guys, you know? Like, as much as I love the production design in, like, Black Sails, right? I don't want to go that rock star with it, even though my guess is some pirates actually did dress like that, because they would rob, like, really nice... Like, they'd steal really nice clothing from ships that they robbed, right? And they would just fucking wear it all, because why not? What else were they gonna do with it? You know? I mean, they'd sell what they could, of course, but but then they also they would wear it, and because they wanted to look, you know, intimidating in some way, and if they were wearing like really expensive shit, that showed what they could do, right? The kinds of ships that they were capable of robbing and all that. And then of course when they went on land, they couldn't leave any valuable shit on the ship because someone might steal it, so they would often wear anything they had of value. They would take it with them when they went on land, and so they really would be all like decked out with rings and earrings sometimes, because it was like anything that was valuable, right? It's not like they trusted the other pirates not to steal their shit. Even though you were not supposed to steal from your own crew. If you did, that was like pretty sure that was like punishable by death. So, but you know, remove the temptation, right? Nautilus, yes. Yeah, it was fun until marketing got involved, and then marketing just fucked it all up. By the way, I did not say Will of the Wisp and Ivor Churchill, thank you for the follows. I appreciate you. You know, I think I should... Well, I was gonna maybe start separating stuff in layers, but I don't think so. She will be on her own layer though. Because we're gonna want to pay a little more attention. Now we did, if you guys recall, we did do a little oil painting a while back, right? Of her face. A little sketch, a little oil sketch. So a little 8x10 here, right? So we'll still key off of that a bit. In fact, we could probably make that easy on ourselves and just possibly plop her right in there. Maybe, but except she's looking at us and I want her to be looking at him, so that actually might not work because we have to turn her head ever so slightly, but we can use it as reference at least, right? Because I do want to like keep her face more or less like that. We'll see. We might mess around with her face a little bit, but we can at least use her for reference for now and go from there. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Damn it, this brush is gonna be a pain in the ass this small, so I might have to switch it up. It like wants to either go really big or really small, and that's kind of annoying. So you might be able to go. All right, we will focus on there we go. That's working a little better. I'll get into another brush that can do more detail in a bit, but I don't need to worry about it just yet. Too early to worry about little tiny details. Irma Gerd Surfer. I did go to Art Center, actually. I went to Art Center from 2003 to 2007. Graduated at the end of 07. Started working as a sketch artist and illustrator and advertising at the beginning of 08. And that's mostly what I've been doing, with other odd jobs in there. All right, on. Yeah, I mean, a lot of awesome artists there that went on to, teach at some pretty good places or do workshops on their own and that kind of stuff. Let's remember that the light is coming from back over our right shoulder. that split in her teeth. Which is always a challenge to do that and not make it, you know, like, it's not necessarily a challenge, but you want to make sure that those teeth are sitting behind the lips, or else they literally look like bunny teeth, and don't want that. She's not a rodent. But we'll get into those details in a little bit. Still too early for that. All right, on. Yeah, actually, my the place that I am employed at is right down the street from Nomon. I mean, granted, we're all working from home these days, but they're just over at Lexington and Highland, so it's like literally right down the street. So do you do illustration stuff, or were you 3D focused? Like, what was your focus at Nomon? We're gonna have to zoom out on her a bit, make sure we're where we need to be. Better catch any problems now. Yeah, it's looking okay. Okay. There's that big mane of hair, right? All right, on. Yeah, dude, you're right around the corner. Right on. It's funny, I went like kind of the other way. I actually had gone to school for computer animation before I went to Art Center, but I went to DigiPen up in Washington, and that was back in 2000. So, you know, long time back. Not a lot of other people doing computer animation back then. I mean, we got to use the first beta of ZBrush, and let me tell you, what a piece of shit that was. I mean, now people obviously do amazing stuff with it, and I want to like get back to ZBrush someday. I don't know when, you know, all that extra time I don't have, but it just looks so fun, and I miss character modeling. That shit was a lot of fun, you know. I loved modeling and I loved animating. I hated rigging and I hated texturing. So whenever I get back to it, maybe I'll just have to like farm that shit out. Although it's probably in some ways maybe it's easier than it used to be. I don't know. Texturing used to be a giant pain in the ass because nothing ever quite worked the way it was supposed to. Yeah, I think now that you can actually like paint your textures in a lot of cases, like it's probably a lot better. But it used to just kind of the only way to do anything decent before was with, you know, UV shit and just the UV unwrap that would only kind of unwrap it, and you still had to go and fix the hell out of everything. And like, I mean, the first beta of ZBrush is like you import an OBJ file and like you get vertices that were, you know, you would have modeled a character and you would get vertices that were literally like 3 miles away, 3 miles out when it would import. And you're like, there's just some weird thing shooting off the character and you're just zooming out forever trying to find where the hell this one vertex is. I remember being very, very amazed that that program actually went somewhere and that it became so awesome. Alright, let's turn her off for now. So lately I've been kind of not focusing as much on line and focusing a lot more on form when I'm doing this stuff. So I don't, and I found like I can work faster that way. Just working with the masked shapes, you know, rather than having to like place the lines all perfectly, you know. We don't want to forget that she does have a couple of scars, right? It's not like she's never been on the receiving end of a blade or something. I think I feel like I had classmates that have taught a good deal at Nomon, but I'm blanking on who. Some of this stuff we may want to switch to a brush that can do more, say, consistent detail. Because in this case, with the graphic design that we're going to end up with, her hands are going to be important. So, I mean, granted, that I can also kind of paint back and forth on, so I'm not super worried about that. Maybe if we just, you know, do this with a little bit of finesse, we can work. Perhaps. And again, I don't want to get super prescriptive on the detail. Right. And let's correct that. Well, not quite yet. Her head. Yeah, her head actually, I was gonna say it looks maybe a little big, but I don't think it does actually. Oh, I was saying that I feel like I had some classmates that ended up teaching at Nomon, but I'm blanking on who they all were. I'm sure there were a few of them over the years, though. Oops, not the smudge tool. Eraser tool. We could do some smudging. When I'm working larger, this brush is so awesome. When I'm working much smaller, it gets a little more unpredictable. Yeah, that name doesn't sound familiar. But I guess it depends on when you went to Nomon, right? I'm not sure. What years did you go? If you were there at the same time I was at Art Center, then obviously there wouldn't be overlap. Though I think Nomon started a little bit into my Art Center career, and I don't know if they were teaching on site yet. Did they start out on site, or did they start with the DVD stuff and online stuff? I feel like her hand looks a little big, but I kind of like that. I kind of like, I sometimes it's nice when you don't just do things super perfect, and part of me is like, well, maybe that's why she's such a badass knife fighter. She's got these like big hands that can just grip the weapons. I don't know, something. We can make it work, but I don't know. I don't mind it. I don't mind her having kind of big hands, and that's something that's so easy to change later, right? To just scale them down if we decide that like, it's kind of bugging me. But for now, I kind of like it. Gives her a little more character. Oh man. Yeah, dude, that treatment. Oh. I've known a couple people that had to deal with both chemo and stem cell. And that stuff is no joke. No joke. Is it at least, like, getting better? I hope? She's got, like, a Tonto style blade, I guess. Why not? Pirates were fairly international, right? Intercontinental. Jay-Z, what's up, brother? Oh, yeah. Dude, that's gotta be rough. John, how you doing, man? Doing well, I hope. We're working on our pirate girl here. She is. And a deadly one at that. I mean, this one, which we have up as reference too. Brought it in there because I was like, oh wait, I got to turn her head slightly, but you know, I still want it to look like her. So, oh, and one thing we don't want to forget are her big earring or earrings. Oh, Max. How can you not? Jessica Parker Kennedy is so cute. And she's so good in there too. It's crazy. I don't know how far you are, but the arc of her character is super awesome. All the characters, man, they did like such a great job in that show developing the characters. Like, it starts out in a certain way where you think you know what it's gonna be, right? You think like, oh, they're just doing a pirate show so they can do like have a bunch of people like pirating and whoring, right? And it's like, no, it turns all that stuff on its head and really gets into some solid character development. That is just so cool. And then just, you know, tying into Treasure Island and stuff is so much fun. Like, I'm really hoping at some point they do a Treasure Island like follow up, you know? They can just wait till what's his name, who plays Silver, Long John Silver, till he gets a bit older. It'd be awesome. I'd watch the shit out of that. Oh, really? Automod? Automod. Come on. We're talking about pirates. Who's here? Who's here? There's someone at the door. Hang on one sec. BRB. That was confusing. So, a pizza delivery guy from the same place that I ordered my pizza from earlier today, but he had the wrong address. He wanted the building across the way from me. I was like, wait, what is Tomato Pie doing here again? I did not order another pizza. I don't need another pizza. It's okay. I have the Ring doorbell, so I could see that it wasn't some, you know, hoodlum with a knife. I have too much equipment in my place. I had to, like, you know, I want this to be like a drawstring. Not that, that's a giant drawstring. Okay, this brush is annoying me this small right now, so we're gonna switch to a different brush that is a little more consistent. I say that as it gets very inconsistent. What the hell? What just happened? Okay. Damn, this one's all crazy too. Brushes get a little weird when you start getting really small with them, let me say. But that's okay. We don't actually need the drawing to be super, super, like, dialed in. So we won't worry about it. Stay consistent. What I want in the drawing is for my landmarks to be there, right? So I want my landmarks to be accurate, right? But I don't need every detail in there because I plan on doing more of that stuff in the painting. And what happens when you start detailing the drawing out like crazy, you start wanting to fill in all that detail when you paint, but that might not be the best way to go from a design standpoint. So that's where sometimes I like to get the landmarks in there, and then as I'm painting, I can decide like where I want to have detail. I do want to have like a little bit of, you know, she's got some jewelry here. I'm kind of thinking she'll probably have some toe rings if we end up seeing her toes in any kind of detail. I don't know yet. Get some, indicate some patches on her clothing maybe. Yad, what's up, dude? The Neapolitans are delicious, but I know you're from Chicago, so you probably want to like deep dish or something, right? Wait, really? They censored Psychopath? You must have some hardcore censoring going on, Shadowwalk. Which, I don't know, maybe that's good, because I do have this labeled as an adult stream. So, also, Liad, thank you very much. Glad you're liking it. I'm having some fun here. Gonna figure out more of this environment back here. I know we've got the smaller rail-mounted cannons. At least one on this side. No, there's some very good pizza places in LA. And I've been to New York many times, and I love New York pizza. So even when I get pizza here, it's still New York style. But there is actually a place here in Pasadena that they have the water shipped in from New York because it changes the consistency of the dough. Right? So they do a true New York style pizza. And I've been there a couple times when people from New York are in there and raving about how good the pizza is. Mama's Brick Oven in South Pasadena does a good, authentic New York style. If that's what you're hankering for. But there are so many, like, one of the best pizza places is like just down Highland, right? Pizzeria Mozza. Come on, their pizza is phenomenal. It's not cheap. It's like a nice date kind of place, but holy crap, their pizza is so good. And so simple, too. I don't know how they do it. You could literally just have a cheese pizza there and it would be delicious. But, you know, it's like, I mean, it's Joe Bastianich, right? I mean, his mom is Lydia Bastianich. If anyone knows pizza, it's them. And everything at Mozza is good. Like everything. Their desserts are to die for. I'm not even a dessert person, and I love their desserts. Get that railing there. Debating if I want some kind of cap on the railing. We do need we want more rope piled up. They always have, you know, rope tied off. I kind of want to, let me think here. We'll do another one of these things over here so that we can have one of these ropes this way. Well, how could LA have a pizza style of its own? Like, I mean, realistically. But to say there is no good pizza in LA is a complete fallacy. Like, let's be real. Pizzeria Mozza is fucking delicious. And, you know, it's a different style. It's not the kind of place you're gonna go to just for, like, a slice, right? But there are good places. And again, I mean, Mozza is also a fancier place. Like, you know, it's not super casual, and so it's like they're the ingredients they use are way higher quality, and you know, they are focusing on more actual, like, Italian type of ingredients. Though there's probably some argument as to how authentic pizza is to begin with. At least the style of pizza we have in the US. So I think at Mozza they kind of try and marry the two, right? Use, like, authentic Italian ingredients with what might be considered a more American style of pizza. Then you're crazy. That's all I can say, because they're amazing. I didn't live in New York, but I used to go there once to twice a year for about 10 years. So, I mean, you know, I love New York pizza as well, but maybe because I spent, you know, most of my life. Oh, that's why. I was like, wait, why are the colors being all weird? Because they're not set to multiply like the rest of it. I do want another. Might be a little too much, because I think I want her head to be more cleared. So maybe we can. That's too even with the other one, so we're not going to do that. I mean, there's so many options with ropes on ships. I'm like, I could almost just throw ropes in and it would be fine. I do kind of want to have one going there, though. Because they would usually have some of these ropes that were meant to like kind of hang on to for when the ship was heaving around in rough waters, right? Yeah, I can't do Domino's. I do like Round Table Pizza because I love their pepperoni, but I can't do Domino's. Like it makes me feel like shit the next day. Like I can't do it. It's just not. Meaning like I have no energy the next day. Like those really cheap pizzas, Domino's, Pizza Hut, Little Caesars, Papa John's. No. I can't do it. Alright, we're getting here. We're gonna start painting some stuff soon. One of the things that I'm not sure about is if I want to do some kind of a hold, you know, the grates that they had. I did that in that original drawing, right? But I don't know if I want to do that. This time. I feel like that could get too busy. And you know what? We're painting this. We can always add it in later. Let's see what this looks like without those. Alright, that perspective is not looking right. On that railing on the left, the upper part looks like we're looking up at it too much, and I feel like it should be. That kind of feels like it's closer to the horizon line, so it should be flatter, I think. That already feels better. we can this is a railing, so we're gonna get a bit of that dude back there showing. Kind of seems like he would be really short right now because thus. I don't need it to be perfect, but I don't want to look at it and feel like something's wrong, you know? But I don't need all of it to be super perfect. I don't care that much. If it doesn't look wrong, it's right. Get some I'm just debating if I want to we can delete you, we don't need you, we don't really, no, we won't worry about that right now. Let's do this. Let's do that. Dude, it totally needs more ropes. Are you kidding? It always needs more ropes. Ships have so many ropes. It's crazy. If you look at pictures, like, and I think a lot of them are just like, just in case. If one rope snaps, they need to have another one right there to replace it. You know, they can't be like, oh, hang on. Let me go down to the rope room in the cargo hold. You know, so they gotta have ropes everywhere all the time. Ropes. That's why I feel okay just throwing in ropes, because it's like, hey, you know what, they probably had a rope there. Plus knowing that ships were, you know, it's not like every ship was designed the same. So they would actually, while the basic functionality was the same, where you had, you know, maybe your foremast and then your main mast, and if it was a three-master, you might have your mizzen mast, right? And you've got your main mast, and then your top main mast, and then your top gallant main mast, and blah, 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 and all that shit. So the functionality was the same, but the physical design of the ships might be different, and so the ropes might attach in slightly different places, but it all, of course, had to be figured out to actually work and balance out the sheer amount of weight that was involved, not just in the massive mass, but then the tension, right, that they would kind of throw onto the ship's hull. Have to be dispersed. All right, let's start playing with some lighting here, because I've got enough information. I don't need more. I feel like anything else I can probably just paint around as I go, you know? So let's do this. We don't need this stuff. Remember, Procreate will kind of limit the amount of layers especially when you're working at larger sizes. So that's why I'm kind of like getting rid of layers that I just don't need anymore. I'm gonna keep her around just in case. But let's start doing some lighting. I'm gonna start monochrome on this because I can always essentially glaze in color later on. I want to figure out the value grouping in this first. So we're gonna start. I'm gonna keep it monochrome for now. I'm gonna start. The sky is almost always the lightest thing in the composition. There are a few specific setups where it might not be, and we could get away with it not being the lightest. Like, there's no reason we couldn't have a storm brewing on the horizon. But from silhouette standpoint, I would rather have a lighter sky behind her. So Oxifer, thank you for the follow. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm keeping this, I'm doing a little more of the, the dead layer kind of mentality, where they would do like a monochrome underpainting, grisaille or something like that, and then glaze in colors, right? So you didn't want too much saturation in the underpainting. And of course it's digital, so we can always saturate the shit out of it anytime we want. So, whatever. Not worried. But if this was oil painting, it would be like burnt umber and white probably, because burnt umber won't get that saturated, especially as soon as you throw white into it. It grays out pretty quick. But it worked really nicely for that method. Gave just a little bit of warmth and enough to kind of maybe help unify a painting a bit, and then but not so much that it would compete. If you wanted to glaze in cool colors, you could, and it wasn't gonna like fuck with them too much. So right now, this is purely the basic graphic design, right? The silhouette, essentially. I have, this is a wet brush, right? So I have the wet mix options turned on in Procreate, because if I can't oil paint right now for real, I can at least pretend like I am, And I like it because it keeps my mentality kind of similar, whether I'm doing digital or traditional. And so it's a lot less it's less painful bouncing back and forth and trying to remember like what to do and how to do it properly. When you get into something like oils and the process is important, right? The order in which you do things is important. So It's tough sometimes when you haven't done it for a while and you've just been doing oil or digital painting, and then you jump back to the oils and then you work way too quickly, and before you know it, you've messed up, and probably not beyond repair because oils are pretty forgiving, all things considered, but it still sucks if you have to repaint something because paint doesn't lay down the same way twice. So weird. Okay. The only thing I wish that Procreate had a sample all layers option, because I'd love to be able to paint on a top layer and have it mix with the stuff on the bottom, but still be on its own layer. It doesn't quite do that. So what we're gonna do, we are going to keep down the opacity on the drawing a bit because we don't need it to be that dark, right? And so what happens if you have your drawing too dark, it limits obviously your ability to control how dark you go, right? So this is like a very basic, the very basic layout currently. What I want to start doing is getting into figuring out my values. So I want to get the darks, the lights, you know, as well as local values of things. So like her shirt, right? She has a light shirt on. So we do want to start getting those value shifts for the local values as well as just overall lighting. So maybe we'll start with the local values because we can always lay shadow on top of that, right? I don't want like a white sail, so I'm not going to do that. But it's a good chance to kind of play with some different skin tones as well. Though some of that will come out more in the color because you can get skin tones that are the same value but very different colors, right? Some more red, some more yellow, some even more toward green. I don't want to go too light with any of this stuff. I'd rather have it feel lighter by going darker with things, right? Because there's a lot of room to play with in the shadows right now. And if we have, let's play with that real quick. Let me kick the opacity down on this a little bit. So if the light is coming from over our right shoulder, we're gonna get like our naval officer here who's kneeling down is gonna be casting one. He's gonna get a shadow from the railing that's behind him, right? And where that shadow is will kind of determine how low that sun is too. So it's fairly low, but that's cool. So I think it's going to be casting shadow all the way over there, and then he will be casting a bit above. So that's all in shadow. That's cool. Let me get some. Of course, her shadow. Slightly more from the right. So let's push his shadow a bit more that way. Right, and since he's going to be up really in the foreground, like he's pretty much the closest thing to us. So he'll probably get more darks, like some heavier darks on him than anything else. Kind of depending on how much I want to push it, right? Like I don't have to go too. We'll probably err on the subtler side first, and we can always amp up those darks if we want to, right? And it would only be in a few areas anyway, a few little areas that we'd get some really dark accents. So we'll probably throw those in at some point, but we don't need to do it right now. Yo, Digital Cluster, what's up? How's it going? We're painting some piratey shenanigans over here. Struggling with what? What are you struggling with? Oh. You just gotta do it. Don't overthink it. Just start drawing and painting. Overthinking is the devil. Oh. You've lost your imagination. Well, I would say you're probably, more than anything, maybe you're just not feeling the stuff that your imagination is coming up with, right? Right now. And if you're not liking the things you're thinking about, then the things you think about have to change. And the only way to do that is to diversify, right? Branch out from the stuff you normally like, the stuff you normally read. I find reading is a great way to kind of spark new ideas. But there are times that I just don't want to read the stuff that I know I'm already into. Because I'm like, no, like, I know what I know. I want to know new stuff. You know? So, you know, it's a good idea then to kind of diversify and try some new, whether that means you're reading novels or studying something, you know, reading up on something like more informative. It doesn't, you know, whatever you like doing, because hopefully it's still fun in some way. Otherwise it's just a giant pain in the ass. But you worked on this and gave up. It's got kind of a Mobius vibe, right? So, I mean, I would ask, what was it that you weren't feeling? Were you bored with it? Was it the subject matter, like, that wasn't vibing with you? Was it did you not like the approach you were taking? Like, there had to have been something that kind of triggered it where you were just like, you know what, I'm not feeling this. And usually if we can kind of figure out what those triggers are, you know, we can kind of do a better job, hopefully, of bypassing them a little bit. I mean, are you able to get something you like more with traditional? In which case, I would say do it that way. Because honestly, like, keeping that production going is super important, you know, and sometimes there's a little too much emphasis put on digital stuff, and you know, I get it from a production standpoint. I wouldn't want to do most of what I do for work traditionally, even though, like, we do sketch traditionally, and that's fine. Though I've been doing a lot of digital sketching for work just because I'm having so much fun in Procreate. But if it's not a work thing and you're trying to just motivate yourself, then I would say whatever gives you the motivation to keep doing it, whether it's digital or traditional, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm going to be getting back to some traditional stuff before too long here. Not tonight, obviously, but I do want to get back to oils on stream. I think that shit's just too much fun. You know, and I was really starting to warm up with them, so I don't want to just stop right when they were feeling really comfortable again. Like, that's exactly the wrong time to stop. Yo, Cosmonaut, how's it going? I'm doing well, you know, just, I don't know if you were around the last time we were tackling this scene or trying to tackle this scene, but finally I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna do this digitally because I don't know when I'll have the time to actually do a full oil painting like this, but the least I can do is start to figure it out, right? Give myself something to reference for whenever I do have the time to oil paint properly beyond just little sketches. So that's what we're doing. Just having fun with faces. This is not actually part of a larger story. This was sort of random. We, the first thing we had done was this one, which was in pencils, right? Because I hadn't done a pencil stream in a long time, and so I liked the idea, but it just, it was kind of stiff. I rushed it a bit, and I wasn't feeling it too much, right? Plus, then I was like, you know what? It also looks really empty in terms of like, it's just the two of them, which just felt weird, and I was thinking of like, how Howard Pyle or Dean Cornwell might have organized the composition. So then I went back and did a pencil rough to try and play with a composition, but I missed that that sail that I had in the first one, which I think was going the other way, but I just missed that as a graphic element. So I was like, no, I want to bring that back in, but then I used this as a base, but then kind of cut it up, moved things around, and we just did the drawing like a more, figured out drawing. And so now I'm just kind of getting into the lighting, treating it as a monochrome piece right now, and then I'll sneak some color in. Probably not tonight. I doubt we'll get to the color tonight. I don't think we'll even finish the values tonight, but it was just kind of a random scene. It's not really based on anything other than my love of drawing pirates. You know, I guess it's just the kid in me, right? I kind of want to, well, all right, before we get too detailed with our with the painting, let's keep jamming on these values. Right. Keep jamming on these. Oh, that's awesome, Cosmonaut. I love it. Crazy pirate scenes are super fun. Where do you work? Or I should say, what do you do for work? You don't have to tell me where. I know some stuff, if it's contract stuff, can't always say. But what kind of stuff do you do for work? Or, whatever you can say safely without breaching contracts. He's also got a bandana. This dude just has like a scarf, like a headband kind of a thing. Oh, fun. That is fun, right? Not everyone likes doing graphic novel stuff. I have like a love-hate relationship with it. I want to love it much more than I do. But what's funny is I actually enjoy it when I'm working on someone else's stuff. When I try and work on my own, I'm like, no, I'd rather just write it and call it a day, because I love to write. But I don't want to write it and then illustrate it. That just seems redundant. So I always just bail on it 3 or 4 pages in. I'm like, nope, I'm done. So when someone like Ryan Lang does a full graphic novel at the level of finish that he does, that he did, I'm just like, dude, props to you, man. I cannot do that. Well, to be fair, Shadowwalk, I never intended to do any of my stuff as a graphic novel. I actually really want to just write a novel, because I love reading, and ever since I was a kid I wanted to write a book, but art, of course, always took priority for me, but I still want to write a book, and the damn book isn't gonna write itself. Right? But of course that shit takes so long. I mean, the amount of editing and stuff I did just for that short story, that Dakota short story in my art book. Just like, man, an entire novel would take forever. We're definitely gonna have to finesse her features a little bit. Let me see, value-wise, what did we do? I actually had that darker than her skin. Okay. Too dark. Too dark. No, I really, really want to get back to writing. It just like, so many things, right? So many things on the plate. It's like, and each thing could easily be a full-time job in and of itself. So, you know, there does come a point where it's like you got to pick your battles, and you can't do it all right now. So you got to choose what you're gonna do, what you're gonna focus on first, get that done, then move on to the next thing, then the next thing, so on and so forth. Getting into a few more, like, more into the accent darks, maybe. I don't want to go too crazy on those with her. But I don't want to push. I don't know why lately I've been very against the whole thing of like pushing atmosphere in a very short space, even though it's such a great way to create some depth and stuff. But if I do it, I want it to be subtle. I don't want it to seem like there's 8 feet of fog between them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like that kind of exaggeration for this scene. And we'll see. I might eat my own words later on and decide to totally push it. But for now, I don't want to go overboard with that. So maybe just like a few kind of accent darks on him. But at the same time, if they're out at sea or something, there can be a lot of humidity in the air, right? So we could actually justify a certain amount of light refraction within that humidity, causing a bit more atmosphere. If we really wanted to, if we really want to justify it, we can. But I like to err outside of subtlety where I can. I do, although I tend to, I mean, yeah, I have stuff that I'll jot down in like a Moleskine, but I also have like a Scrivener document that's literally just like possible story ideas, because I can do it in a Moleskine and then I'll lose track of which Moleskine it was in, and then before you know it, I just forget about which book it was in. Digital Cluster, he does not have a mug of ale. I could give him one, but I feel like if I'm really thinking through the narrative of this setting, it would be a little more spontaneous and they wouldn't necessarily stop to break out the ale, because they would have had to keep the booze fairly under, like, kind of under lock and key, right? Otherwise the pirates will just get super hammered and they can't sail the ship. So in order to keep them a bit more sober, they would have kept that stuff guarded, and probably hope that whoever's guarding it did not partake too much. And then they'd break it out when it was time, right? For the people that were not on shift. But in this particular case, I'm guessing they boarded some Navy ship and are now asserting their dominance. And so are not necessarily breaking out the booze. But maybe once she kills this Navy captain or whatever the hell she's gonna do, maybe then they will celebrate with some ale or rum. He's just leaning on a cask right now, taunting the poor Navy captain, who is trying to think of the value here. If I want the wood of the ship to be darker or lighter, I think I want it to be lighter than his coat. So let's darken his coat a bit, and we'll lighten the skin where his coat was slashed. Not the layer I wanted to be on, but that doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. So we'll have to go even darker on those shadows, casting across him. Well, I'm glad to hear it, Cosmonaut, because she is definitely swaggery. She's awesome, and she knows it. Right? feel like I can probably start like painting on top of this stuff now. At least pretty soon. I want to get some of his pasty white skin underneath there, and he is bleeding. Luckily for him, he has a red coat, so the blood will probably just blend right into his coat. Maybe it'll darken it some. Damn red coats. I'm debating how much I want to treat this like a traditional painting, because I might actually, for the sake of, because I'm using like a wet brush, right? So for the sake of kind of blending in with what's there, I might actually paint on a flattened layer. So let's do that. Because why not? And let's fix this tangent on this dude's hair, because tangents are the devil, and we do not like them. Why don't you have rum? I always have rum on hand. Alright, let's see. Where do we want to start? Because this is kind of now a matter of just like starting somewhere and painting out from there. So maybe why not? Why not start with our girl? The benefits of starting with the focal point is that you can then establish your level of detail, right? So go as tight as you want on the focal point, and then everything else can be looser, which is super helpful, right? Well, I'm calling her Belle Noir, Black Bella. But I don't have an official name. If I were to do more with this character, I would probably really, really think through the name. Not that I mind Belle Noir as her pirate name, right? Let's bring our... Well, we're not going to be able to see it when we're this close, I don't think. No, we also swapped the light over to the other side, didn't we? That's okay. Can't forget her nose ring. Oh, Kraken is rough though. Oh, Sam Gushu. Sam, I didn't even see you in here. Thanks for redeeming the stretch. I got sidetracked with other stuff. Sam, welcome. Folks, if you don't follow Sam, go follow Sam. She does awesome stuff. Sam, I caught the very end of your stream today. Like the very end, I think you were looking for someone to raid. And then I think I got that right. Yay, go follow Sam. She's awesome. Yeah, the Kraken rum is rough, and I gotta say I'm not a fan of the molasses based rum. I prefer sugarcane based rum. Rum agricole is delicious and does not leave you with the gnarly hangover that molasses rum does. So I would say if you're gonna do the rum thing, go for rum agricole or sugarcane rum. Rum agricole if it's a French rum, and then sugarcane rum if it's from anywhere else. You know, it could be fun if we get into that much detail. They used to in both India and Egypt, they would dye the tips of their fingers with henna, and it would give it this cool, like, kind of reddish tint. So it would just be like the full fingertips, you know. And then they would dye their nails even darker with the henna. So it might be fun. I don't know if we'll get into that kind of detail, but it could be kind of fun to do that for her. And again, we don't want her to have like perfect eyebrows, right? She's a pirate. While she might do some makeup and stuff, I don't think she's like so vein that she's gonna have like perfectly plucked eyebrows. Not to mention, she is already by far the best looking person on this ship, so I don't think she needs to do a whole lot. Ah, we can't forget her nose ring, too. I keep forgetting that. I don't know how I would paint this if I was actually gonna do it traditionally. Like, some of these details would end up being so small. There's no way I'd be able to paint them. That's the one thing with sometimes doing a prelim digitally, if you have an oil painting in mind, is you have to kind of consider, like, is it actually possible to do all this stuff? I mean, granted, like, it's also good to give yourself more detail than what you'll actually paint. It's always good to be able to edit when you paint. So I'd either have to do this much larger than I would want, because I don't really want to even think about like a 2x3 foot oil painting right now. Even though I know to some people, like, that's not that big, but it's way the fuck more time than I have right now. It would be fun though if I did have the time. I just don't know, like, it would be so much time spent on it that, like, and then the painting would just end up sitting around, because, like, what do I do with a 2x3 foot oil painting? It's not like I have like a bunch of collectors buying my oils, right? I mean, kind of hard to have collectors buying your oils when you never sell them or put them up for sale. I should say. Maybe I should start trying to sell my oil paintings. How about that? Thanks, Elst Dragoon. Well, thank you, Shadowwalk. Yeah, I decided, you know, I got enough the kind of major points in there, so I figured I could start, you know, painting in some details. So we are zoomed way in, probably at like 200%. This is one of the reasons the brushes act all weird. Very hesitant. Did I put a glint in? I did put a glint in her eye. Okay. I'm hesitant sometimes to do that because it can flatten things out a little bit. And though it's fun to put those little sparks in the eyes, but it's not always called for. However, she is pretty much facing the setting sun, so she would have that reflection in her eye. So might as well do it. Give her her heavy eyeshadow. I also kind of want the eyeshadow to be a little messy, not like perfectly applied kind of stuff. Almost more like her war paint or something. Thank you, Elst Dragoon, for that hydrate. Shadowwalk, yeah. I don't see why not. You know? I'd say it would be worth doing a time lapse for. They are fun. I wonder how long the time lapse is currently. That'd be kind of a long one, huh? But you can see where we started, right, with that initial rough sketch that I brought in, and then I was like, all right, I gotta cut it up and space things out a little bit. We did our kind of our rough drawing. Moving things around. Brought our girl in. Drawing. Then we got into laying in our value composition. And then anything her up. Little by little. Not bad. 8-minute time lapse so far. Come on. Ugh. There. So I feel like the hardware on my iPad is starting to mess up on me, where it doesn't always acknowledge the touch, right, when I pinch to zoom, and sometimes it just does a paint stroke instead. And but everything's pointing to Apple announcing a new iPad this month, March. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna wait and see. Then maybe I'll get a new one. Cause that shit is bugging me. And at first I was like no, it's silly to get a new iPad just for that when everything else works. But honestly, I'm using this for work now too, so I can justify it. And when you have something that disrupts your workflow, it's not a good thing. Not a good thing. Can't forget her scar, right? Yeah. repeating values here, and I need to think through what those would be doing. Especially since our sun would be hanging lower. Some of this stuff sometimes is a little easier when you're working with full color because you can kind of separate things with color, right? And you don't have to do it all with values. So that is something to consider when you're working this way, is like, do you want to separate things? Or is it something that you might separate later? Or do you want to separate it in value knowing that it might get a little busier than you want, but also knowing that you're going to simplify that when you do get into the colors, right? And I don't know if there's a right or a wrong way to go about that. It's probably best to err on the side of simplifying your values, I think. Just pretty much always makes for a stronger composition. So it's best not to just indicate every single plane change with values, right? Because it does get super busy that way. And it's not a smart way to work. Nor is it a sophisticated way to work. And we like to at least pretend we're sophisticated around these parts, right? We are artists. Normally I would say don't make the whites of the eyes too bright, but again, I feel like in this case they would be catching a lot of sun, so they might get somewhat bright. But even then, like, they shouldn't be as bright as the sky, right? And if we lay that right next to it, we're not even close, so we're good. Shadowwalk, you have a good one. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out. Always appreciate it. You sleep well? I should probably think about turning in soon myself. And yeah, digital cluster, new iPad Pro, right? Soon? I sure hope so, 'cause I would really like one. I just kind of try to ignore how much this one is annoying me currently. And it's one of those things where I know it'll actually, whenever I do get a new one, it'll catch me off guard. The fact that it's working. What's up? Autumn. Raiding with a party of 29. Hello, my friends. Welcome, raiders. No doubt some of you might recognize this girl from some past streams. I don't know, maybe. This is what we're working on right now. Yo, Autumn, thanks for the sub, brother. How's your stream, man? 25 months. What? What? What did you work on stream, dude? Show us. Show us. We're just painting up this pirate scene that I had started way back when. I don't even know exactly when. It's not like it was years ago or anything, but you know, it was a while ago. No, show us now! Or forever hold your peace. Take your time. Take your time. And folks, if you don't follow Arthur Kell, go follow Arthur Kell. He is our dear, dear friend, fellow streamer, co-worker. So go give him a follow. Give him a follow. Oh, raid! Another raid! Cha-cha! What's up, dude? And what the hell are you still doing awake? How are you? It's been forever. It's been forever. How are you doing? Folks, if you don't follow Shakuri, go follow her as well. She does amazing, amazing colors. Thank you. Yeah, I'm having fun with this. So this is a whole pirate scene, right? We had started, actually a while ago, I had done an initial pencil drawing on stream. And I liked the idea, but it felt stiff and I wanted more figures in there and whatnot. So I did a loose sort of ideation on that. And that's what I did. Fanged, what's up? Hello. So then I took this rough and kind of started blowing that out today. So I started painting this up. Thank you. And Chakri, do you want to share what you did on stream? Please share whatever you guys did. In the meantime, so her face, I ended up doing a oil painting of, right? So that was the little oil painting I did of her. A little 8x10 oil. Let's try and get it not super blown out, but whatever. So that's what I'm using as reference currently for her face. Right? So, yeah. Ooh, let's see what Autumn did. Autumn. Oh, nice. Dude, that's tight. I'm always a fan of a Lamia. Always, always a fan. Right on, dude. Nice to see you doing pencils, too. You know? I dig it, brother. I dig it. Hell yeah. Hell yes. How is everybody? How is everybody? Huh? As we're painting up our pirate girls. Yeah. Hell yeah. That's fair, man. It's getting late, and I should probably call it pretty soon myself. But I'll be back on Thursday if you want to catch me then. But because the hard part is now I could just keep going on this, but I'm like, no, I gotta try and like in my mind, daylight savings is like 2 weeks away. And so I'm like, oh, I should start preparing for that and start waking up earlier so that it's not so painful when all of a sudden we have to wake up an hour earlier. Right? Fucking daylight savings. Stupid idea was that. Although, having grown up on a farm, I get it. I get it. It was for the farmers. But you know what? I ain't a farmer anymore. Thank you for the follow, my friends. Scruffusus, Eichmann, Hasselith, Dream27. Thank you for the follows. Oh, and Unruly Soul, thank you for the follow. Fanged Bunny, thank you for the sub. We lose sleep. It's spring forward. So if you're waking up at 8 o'clock, that will then be 9 o'clock. So you're going to have to wake up at what is now 7 o'clock. Oh. And I feel like my sleep schedule is already dangerously close to like getting really fucked up. And I'm just really trying to not let it get fucked up. But there's art to be done. We need to do the arts. All the arts. The art is not going to paint itself. And if we are not awake to paint it, who will? So many worlds left unexplored. Stories left untold. Napalm granite. That's a fun one. Napalm granite. Thank you for the follow. I know my sleep schedule, like it kind of it goes off, and um, then I kind of like wrangle it back in before it can go like too far off the rails, and then it wants to go off the rails again, and it's a constant battle. It's one of the few upsides about driving into work was that it sure kept that consistent. But on the other hand, traffic, commuting, not fun. Well, it was nice to see everybody. Let's see. How does she feel? How does she feel? Her... Some proportions are a little... What is it? Is her head growing on me? Maybe. Maybe it got a little bit big. So... Here's the thing, she's now looking kind of maybe shorter than I want her to look, meaning her proportions. She looks like she would be a little shorter, except that the rail on the ship would not be that small. Which means she's got to be kind of taller. So we need her to look a little taller. Now I can either embiggen her, or I could shrink her head down just a little. It wouldn't take much, I don't think. So let's look at... do that. Yo. Oh. There. Which is funny, because normally I tend to draw characters that are intentionally, you know, I want them to look a little on the shorter side. Because people always draw, like, really tall-looking characters. But in her case, I don't want her to look really tiny. Sorry, Shakuri. Sorry, she's not super tiny. But hey, she has an awesome mane of dark hair. So, you know, we've got that. Sarah, you have a good night. I'm assuming you came over with the Archer Kell raid. Thank you for hanging out. Appreciate that. I'm kind of just making up some of these folds, and they sort of just happened on their own, and so I'm sort of accentuating them, and I'm kind of liking them. I have no idea how accurate some of them are, but whatever. Again, if it doesn't look wrong, it's right. Simple as that. It's as simple as that. I really should consider calling it a night myself very soon here. Before we get into like some other thing that demands some time from us. But one thing, she needs to be looking down a little bit more. Which I think is just a matter of bringing the pupil down. Partly also that glint in the eye was a little too high, so it was making her eyes feel like they were like looking up more than they should be. Tiny little things can make such a difference. It's annoying sometimes. Get some of that humidity working on her, right? Yo, Kasem, what's up? How's it going, dude? How you doing, my friend? There's so many people here you guys should follow. Autumn, you should follow Shakuri, you should follow Kasem. I think Fanged Bunny is lurking around. I'm not sure if Sam Gushu is still lurking around. Maybe follow all the people. You will not regret it. So, luckily, we are not going to go this tight on the entire piece, right? My idea is that I'm going to focus on the focal area, detail that out, and then everything else can loosen up as I move away from that, right? Like, this dude probably doesn't need to be a whole lot tighter than he is. I'll put in a few little details that'll kind of, pull that face out, and he'll probably be fine. A lot of these guys don't need to be that much more detailed. we'll do a little more on them just because we can and it's fun. But they're not going to be as detailed as she is, right? So, yeah, it'll be a fun piece. Yeah, Sam's a badass. He does great stuff. All you guys are badasses. You all do great stuff. All right. I think we're in a good place for a night's work. I'm happy with where it's going. I can envision it, and that's kind of the most important thing. Thanks, Kason. Yeah, I was kind of, trying to channel a bit of Dean Cornwell with a DL twist. So just kind of trying to pay attention to the graphic design, and I like how Cornwell, like, some of the stuff would sort of just get stacked up, and he would let it all kind of meld together in terms of values, and he might just separate it with color because he didn't want it to distract, right? And I just love the way he would push that stuff. So I'm gonna see how much I can maybe do some of that. We'll see. Got a little ways to go still. So I think I'm gonna call it. I don't know. Is there anyone we can raid? Anyone that y'all would recommend we raid? Raid the tombs. I ain't a tomb raider. Shadow Legends. I don't even know Shadow Legends. Is that weird that I don't know Shadow Legends? Ooh, okay. Let's see. Shang Taki. Shang. Where's my keyboard? My keyboard's here. Shang Taki. Cool. She's doing something chaotic and concerning, huh? Okay. I don't know what that means. No, that's cracking me up. Pava, what's up? We're actually about to call it. I think we're gonna raid someone, maybe. If we can find someone worth raiding, we'll raid. Cynics. I don't know Cynics. I realize all the people I follow mostly stream during the day. What's Cynics doing? I have no idea what Cynics is doing, but we'll raid them anyway. I see something about Element and Voltron, so I'm cool with that. All right, I think we're gonna raid Cynics Design, my friends. Thank you to everyone that hung out. I have not seen Cynics, so this will be a nice surprise for me. Thank you, everybody, and we'll be back Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. hopefully I will see y'all then. Thank you, everyone. All right? Peace out, my friends. We're gonna raid. Everyone wants to stick around for the raid. 3, 2, 1. Here we go.